This is the doomtombpodcast, the podcast for all things stoner, doom, and sludge. My name is Chris. I am your host, and we are going to Edmonton, Alberta today for a band that just had a release on February 18th of 2021. And this band takes heavy influence from stoner, punk, metal, and doom subgenres. You want to hear it? Yeah, I thought you did. All right, let's get into the interview right now. You know, it's weird, man. I was just in Alberta not too long ago. Well, for an interview, that is, with Hexerai, and now I'm back. So this gentleman, Jordan, he says to me through messaging on social media, he's like, hey, can you check out my band and let me know what you think? You know, maybe we could play something or whatever. So I check it out. There's one track available right now. The rest of the tracks will be out on the 18th of February. And the track that I was able to hear was Banshee. And we're going to get to that in just a minute. But let me tell you how much of a fucking banger this is, like right out of the box. I was so blown away because it's not just Lords of the Opium Church or Hexerai or some of the other bands that I've heard lately. There has been some really killer material coming out. Maybe it's pandemic influenced. I'm not sure, but I have all the band members, I believe. Yes, 1, 2, 3. Here we are of Lords of the Opium Church. Could you just go down and introduce yourselves, starting with?
Hey, I'm Jordan. I play guitar and sing in the band.
I'm Rob. I play drums.
I'm Terry. I play bass and I pretend to sing.
And Terry, are you the guy taking care of all the sound? Because you got a lot of stuff over there.
Yeah. So Rob and I work together. Rob's a second engineer here at the studio, and he did most of the tracking for the record. And then I did the mixing.
Well, let me tell you something, man. This is incredible. So Jordan sends me over the material, and I have to admit, I don't know. It's been a while. You sent me a like a raw RAR, whatever that is, RAR file. I'm not really quite sure how to open it, and I got a Mac, so I was futzing around. I could listen to it on the computer, but I couldn't listen to it on my phone. And I got this thing where I just go out on my porch and I listen to the music. I digest it. I maybe have a beverage, maybe have a smoke, and I go through it. And thank you, Jordan, for sending it to me. And you know what? How about this? Let's not screw around with this. Let's get right into the material and talk about it. You all ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, dude. Let's kick off. Here's what I got. So we open up with Opium Church. We got this violin to an all-out rocker, guitars and drums starting up the tempo. I like the fact that the vocal went from what I would consider a chop to a stretch. And I guess as I go down the line for this album, I don't know if there is a song that I can't bang my head to. It's incredible material. I hear some keyboards at the end. What can you guys tell me about Opium Church?
I'll go. I'll take this one.
Okay.
Yeah, man, go for it.
Jordan had this idea. He came to me and apparently he was up late and went to watch a movie and his girlfriend was sleeping. And I can't remember the name of the movie, but it started off really frantically and he had the volume way too loud and it made him panic and freaked out and he grabbed the remote, turned it down, and he told me it was funny and he had this idea. He wanted to start the album just with a really frantic kind of a sound. Right. I said, okay. So Jordan, you want to start the album with a way that makes people want to grab the volume and turn it down. And he says, yeah. I said, okay. We didn't really want to use any samples, so just being at the studio, so we had a lot of options to play with, but the people to call in. So we brought in a cello player, a double bass player, a fiddle player. We had bows on music stands. Jordan brought in an old Irish drum to kind of give that heartbeat sound. Don't Tell My Boss made bong sounds in the studio. Added that in. Man, I can't even remember. There's got to be at least 60 layers of just different sounds on there, and just kind of creates I had both of my daughters come in and scream at the top of their lungs. That's the screaming that you hear at the very beginning and at the break later in the song. And that's untouched. They just scream. Like one's 3 and one's 5 and one's 13. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting start to that song.
So
I
they're
guess.
pretty good at screaming as young kids there.
Oh yeah, they're great screamers for sure. Yeah,
All day, every day.
all
right,
day
so
long.
Jordan, Terry, can you add anything to that for the track?
Yeah, well, basically, like Rob was saying, like I kind of wanted to start the album with the sense of it being like a really obnoxious horror movie, almost, you know.
Right.
And so that was like the idea of the shrieking violins, and I play violin myself a little bit, but I'm not that good, so we brought somebody in to do it a little bit better, you know.
I got you.
And yeah, we just wanted to make some really obnoxious noise that would sound like something from a sort of 80s horror movie kind of a thing. So.
And you nailed it.
Sweet.
Absolutely. Now, okay, so Terry and Rob, you do more of the production of the record. That's what you were saying before?
Yeah.
Okay, so Terry, what can you tell me on a production side? Like, you know, Rob's saying you got all these layers. What kind of time frame are we talking? Like, how long does it take to create a track like this?
Well, it's weird because like I think for Rob and Jordan, like I got into it a little bit later. I actually came in. I said, you know, I'll put some bass on it, and you know, and I'll just, you know, kind of fill it out a bit.
Right.
And I didn't really even realize what I was getting into. And when I opened up the projects, and they were just so dense, so huge, right?
Right.
Like sharing like the ideas behind them. Like I think like for the first record, it took a lot to kind of get the sound to where it is. Because there's just so many ways you could go. You could go with like a really classic vibe. You could go with a really muted sounding drum kit. Like sky's the limit, right? So when you're choosing that final path, it's a real big commitment. So like for this first project, it took a long time. And I think the next project is going to be a lot more like we kind of know what we want to do with it already. So.
Yeah. So you've you know, it's like anything else. It's somebody new coming into a family or what have you, or people gathering together as a team, as a unit. And then now, you know, you don't have to, I don't want to say the niceties can be lost, but you can actually just get to the meat of it without having to say, what do you think about this? What do you think? Because you know where each person's part is in the unit.
Totally. We kind of like know what our goals are now. Like, so when we're going after, and we're all pretty much on the same page. So when we're going after something, it's like really kind of easy to get there.
Right.
So, and everyone's like, yeah, like of all the bands I've been in, this band is super easy to work with. Like everyone's
That's
just
good.
Really, really easy to work with. Like nobody wants to kind of get in the way of each other. So it's good.
Right on. So, well, let's go into the next one here. Trial and Error, another banger of a track. And you got the killer hooks. And to me, it feels like a bit of an ode to 70s arena rock style. But there's one little part about it that I like, and I've talked about it before on the podcast. It's not necessarily a lyric, it's just a sound. And I just wrote the because there's a in there. So, okay, so I'm assuming Jordan performed the
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So Jordan, what can you tell me about your
Well, it was either the huh or to throw in a all right, because I usually throw in the all rights, you know, and that just comes from being so heavily influenced with Sabbath, you know, and just the stuff that I grew up listening to and still listen to. So I always liked that, you know, and even some of the old, just 80s stuff, you know, just throwing that in there.
And Terry, did you have something to say about it?
Yeah, so I got to out Jordan right now. That is totally a sample. We took it from a wildlife show, and it's actually a clip of a tiger roll. And so it's not real.
It's not me.
Not Jordan.
It's from Tiger King or whatever that is.
Yeah, that's right. A Disney movie or something.
Wait, are you kidding me or are you serious?
No, I'm fucking with you. It's totally
Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Fuck me, man. But still, I love that when either of, like, you know, the old school sound, I feel it gets kind of lost where there's the 1, 2, 3, 4 or something, or a, you know, even somebody's like a yeah, like you said, like Jordan, and not as much of a lyric as like, I'm feeling this right now.
Yeah.
So I love to hear stuff like that. Now, Rob, did you have anything to add about Trial and Error?
Yeah, that's a kind of a cool song. Like, and one of the neat things about this record is, I think the amount of time that we put into it. I was in the middle of a Canada tour with a different band when the COVID strike came, and Jordan was working up north. So we both came home and did the 2-week thing, and then neither of us had a job or fucking anything to do. So we would meet up for 5 days a week, 8 hours a day at 9 a.m. at the studio and work on this record. And we had already pre-had the songs before, but so the neat one with Trial and Error was that it's a song about the Salem witch trials. And we spent a lot of time smoking weed and watching videos and reading up and doing a lot of cool research about it. And yeah, that one in particular was really cool. I really enjoyed that song too.
Is that why the smoke is coming out of the church on the cover? Is all that weed?
That's up to interpretation. I mean, it's up to.
I would think whoever. I would think it would be Opium, honestly. So, okay, guys, we got to move forward to Left Behind. Now, I got this almost like power metal vibe. You've thoroughly exhausted people and you give them like a little rest around 2-minute mark before that one last rally. And it slows down just a bit before this like ripping frenzy of a solo. Tell me about it. I want to know about the music, of course, and the track, but tell me about what was the concept for the guitar work on this track?
Well, for me, the guitar work was trying to be basically like a nod to Motorhead. I mean, we're all big Motorhead fans, and we just wanted something that was just really quick. And the whole song was based around a drum beat that Rob sent me.
Right.
He had this idea for this killer drum beat, and he sent that to me, and I was like, well, I've never really written anything to a drum beat like that. It's really cool, So tried to come up with something, a few different ideas here and there, and that's sort of what it worked out to be. So
perfect. Now, Terry, what can you add to that? Do you have anything to add for that track?
No, man. It's actually one of my favorite tracks on the record.
It's a banger for sure, man.
It's a total banger. Yeah, I love it.
And that's what I was saying. I was, when Jordan and I were messaging back and forth, I'm like, I think I said something to that effect. Like, every song on here is just like, it's straightforward. It's just, they're just all bangers, man. And I didn't find not even like a slagging track, like not even like a remotely slagging track. But Rob, I'm sorry, Terry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say actually one of the things I like most about the song is actually one of Jordan's lyrics. It's like, why don't you tell us like what the rules are to the game, who gets left behind? I think it's like kind of like a call it to the rapture, but it's good. Yeah, it asks some pretty heavy questions, so that's probably why I like it so much.
Now that was a good, thank you for bringing that up. So who is the main lyricist for this, for all the music?
I think it's kind of split between Rob and I so far, on this stuff. I mean, we are working on record number 2, and Terry's got a lot of stuff coming down the pipe as well. Right. So, but yeah, I think a lot of it was between Rob and I, just from lyrics point. Rob came up with a lot of that for Left Behind as well, and yeah, just whatever works.
Well, I could see it in Rob's background. He's got a Motorhead a flag up there of sorts, or some kind of tapestry. So, Rob, what can you add to this track?
Yeah, I'm a more of a punk drummer, I guess, and I have a bit more of a punk background. So right. I think it was just kind of fun to throw a song in like that. And and obviously how this band started was mine and Jordan's combined love for Sabbath and bands like that. But I just kind of felt the need to throw something quick in there in the middle to shake things up, I guess.
Yeah, kick people in the ass.
Fucking right. Shake it up.
Yeah, man. Why not? So we're going to go to Thunderhead, which kind of slows down a bit, showing more vocal chops to a big finish, ending on some strings. Now, I guess a big question, because years ago, I don't know what the other styles of music, we'll talk about it a little later, that you got influenced by. I grew up on some Venom personally, in the same Motorhead era. And I remember Kronos, he was saying, it's great to sing Sacrifice and black metal, but this is a bad impression, by the way. I should just fucking stop. But
I think it's pretty good.
But he says it takes much more power and effort to do like Buried Alive, and much more to get the slower stuff. You have to put that much more energy into it. So from a vocal standpoint, Jordan, how do you feel about that? And what can you tell me about Thunderhead?
Yeah, I mean, that song is a tricky one to sing just because the notes are pretty drawn out.
Right.
I wrote the majority of the lyrics to that song just one morning when I was extremely hungover, to be quite honest, and I wasn't feeling my best, and I was pretty depressed about it. And yeah, I mean, a lot of it could be taken from somebody who could be battling with some sort of addiction and that sort of an avenue,
Right.
It was, I guess, sort of a softer song, still in the rock genre, but the ending, initially I wrote the riff to be a little bit faster. And when Rob and I had jammed it the first time, it was just kind of just feeling it out, and we ended up playing it a lot slower, and that just ended up staying the way that it is on the record, and we just liked it a lot slower, a little bit more melodic. So
Absolutely, man. Now, Terry, can you add anything to that?
Yeah, man, that song is fucking incredible. So the end of that song, that's like a real 3-piece string section. Like it's not like a sampled kind of thing. You can hear it's kind of grisly, and it's got all the imperfections you would normally have with like a real trio, with like the tuning isn't perfect, or like I heard that song like when I heard it for the first time, like because I came in later, I was totally fucking blown away by it. What's neat about all this stuff is Jordan's maybe a bit modest about this, but like, so when you go through the tracks, I can see the take structure for the vocals, and like how many takes it took to put together a take.
Right.
So usually get a lead take and it's comped. Often like Jordan will take like 2 or 3 whips through a song, and he'll keep like entire verse or like entire takes, and that'll just be like a lead take for a track. And like, there's not a lot of punch-ins there. It's actually pretty raw.
That's awesome.
That song was especially cool. So
now, Terry, first off, I thank you for that. Now, Rob, dude, I know we cough to get off. So if you got to cough it out, brother, cough it out. Go ahead, man. Don't hold it in.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Because I was just checking, just checking up on you. Because I know sometimes
I was trying not to cough over Terry talking.
Well, it's weird. I take a medication, and after a couple hours, everything gets dried out. I start coughing, and I always feel guilty, especially with the pandemic now, because like if you cough a little bit, somebody's like, "Whoa, are you all right? Is everything good? You want to lay down?"
Oh, dude, it is not a popular time to have a stoner cough right now. And
It is not.
I have "Stay Sick" tattooed on my knuckles. Also, not a popular choice right now.
Not so much. Not so much, sir. All right. So while we're talking to you, brother, what can you tell me about this track?
Not much. It honestly is one of my favorite songs too. It's a catchy tune. I don't know. It honestly one of my favorites. But yeah, that was all Jordan's magic, honestly.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Well, I would like to say one more note. The string players on the end of that song, Dan and Jenna, from the band Night Howl in Edmonton.
Ooh, is that one word or two?
Two words, I believe. Yeah.
And there's an H on there.
Yeah, Night Howl. Yeah.
Yep. I got it. Anytime I hear a band name that I haven't heard, I got to check them out and see what they got shaking.
Rob recorded, mixed, and mastered that. It's a good record.
Oh, right on. So, okay, first, let's see. Let's go over to Rob. Rob, what kind of music are they playing?
Oh, it's like a lot of that. Like she's an incredible singer and plays cello at the same time. He plays stand-up bass with a bow, plucking it to electric bass. Then they also have trumpet and drums and guitar. They're a pretty incredible band, honestly. Definitely not stoner rock genre, but they're a good band for sure. And I was recording them, and that was how I had the honor of getting them to play on our record. And obviously, the intro was fun, and it was so fun that we had them play on the. Actually, no, that's not it. I was recording them, and I had asked them to play on the end of this song, one of Jordan's ideas, and awesome. They came. And honestly, I was so fucking blown away. I thought they'd come in and just play along to it or do whatever, but they they had come in and they had wrote like a counterpart to all of the sections. Like if you noticed it plays off of Jordan's riff and totally changes into their own things. Like they came in so incredibly prepared. And it was around that time that we were building the intro for the Opium Church for a song, but so awesome. had them. It all just lined up that way. So that was why but none of that shit is sampled. None of it's all real people playing it, and it's really fucking cool for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, that sounds killer. Now I apologize, Jordan. Was there anything else you wanted to say about that?
No, I mean it was a great experience having string players come in and work on something that we were writing. You know, it was surreal to see stand-up basses and cellos and all that stuff, you know, like
sure.
I took my hand at playing the piano parts at the end, and I'm not a piano player by any means, but I just copied the riff from the guitar onto the piano.
Right.
And what they accompanied with that, I mean, it was amazing. So we're really happy with it.
As well, you should be. It came out amazing. And we're going to move forward to Electric Temple. Yet another banger. I like there's like, if I'm not mistaken, there's just like a minimal use of keyboards in this track. What can you tell me about it? Let's start. Well, since the light is on you, Jordan, go ahead. What can you tell me?
Well, that song, as far as the keyboards are concerned, that was all Terry. That was his idea, and I think it worked really well in that song.
Absolutely. Well. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I initially wrote that song about a bar in Montreal, actually called Fufon Electric. That's kind of where the name kind of came from. A little bit about that place, and it's more of a play on words, kind of a little nod to a place I was at one time. And it was just
right on.
A cool experience.
Oh, that's cool. Now, Terry, first off, what can you tell me about this? And then I got to ask you like a tech question about keyboards, but what can you tell me?
Yeah, sure. I mean, most of the keyboard that I kind of snuck into the records for the last minute was like, just to give it more of a, you know, like a churchy kind of organ feel. You can tell it's like that classic kind of church organ sound. So
yes,
just having a little bit of that tucked in there just makes it more, it's like, the band always asks us the question, how can we make this more satanic?
I mean, I guess you could hang upside down and play it, maybe, or play it upside down. I don't know. Something play backwards.
Totally. Yeah.
Now, okay, I don't know if it's a question for you, Terry, or a question for Rob, or both of you. So I'm listening to some like more popular music, and my wife and I were just out to dinner, and we came back and we're listening to these tracks, and she's playing some songs that she really likes, and I noticed that it's not just these songs, but other ones where they're doing a different style of piano now, where it's almost like these very short notes that just ting, 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 kind of, but but only like one at a time. And it's not like they're utilizing the piano the way some other people would. It's a lot shorter. Have you noticed this in popular music? And if so, do you have an idea as to why it's becoming a trend?
I mean, it's not just the piano. It's actually like piano is a really common one, like that ting, 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 that idea. But nowadays it's so easy to get an instrument onto a track. Right. And piano is just so ubiquitous. Like you find that it gets thrown in everywhere. Like I actually use piano heavily, like in the low register, underneath like really brooding rock music, or things like Opium Church, like where like that low octave just adds a lot of weight. Like there's like a couple instruments that come to mind. For instance, like the organ, right? Like how often would you see just sort of like an afterthought kind of instrument, like a big organ on a track? Now it's so easy to get that stuff. So I find people are just kind of throwing it in more often. Like
right now, you know what, Jared? Thank you for that. And I wanted to even go a little bit further just for a second. So sure. when somebody is tracking, when you're tracking an electric guitar track, do you ever put an acoustic underneath it?
Totally. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it depends what you want to go for. Like everything has to do with arrangement, right? Okay. So like if you're listening to your mix and the guitar is, say, really sludgy, and you notice there's not really a lot happening like in the top end of the mix, you can put something like an acoustic to bring some life into it. And interestingly, like where you pan the acoustic is also really important, because if you pan it, say, away from a really thick element, it'll sound really isolated. Whereas if you pan it with that element will sound like it takes on a part of that sound in itself. Cool. So like using those elements in different ways really can kind of liven up a sound. So it all just has to do with arrangement. You can think of it like arranging an orchestra. Like an orchestra you're usually trying to balance out, and the most basic way, the lows with the highs, the percussion with the smoothness of it all, right? And so, it's an acoustic is a great way to bring some liveliness to the arrangement, or bring out notes in the chord that you want to hear more of or less, more of, right?
Right. Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, hey there, Tommy. What's with the long face? I don't know why I feel the way I do. I'm just not happy, Doc. Like, I don't feel right. Oh, I think you have anxiety, Tommy. I know exactly what you need. I'm going to go ahead and write you a prescription for a record player and some sweet new records at Glory or Death Records. That'll get you back on your feet again, and right as rain in no time. Glory or Death has all the best bands: Moss Generator, Red Wizard, Love Gang, Red Witch Johnny. They'll get you feeling peachy keen again. They even have an insane double album tribute to Thin Lizzy featuring High on Fire, Mothership, Duel, Worshipper, and tons more. Wowee! Oh, that sure is keen. Side effects may include extreme giddiness, bloodshot eyes, random cravings, forgetfulness, bleeding of the ears, confusion, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, depression, anxiety, alcoholism, ulcers, or death.
I know I spelled this wrong. Superstitions, right? Yeah. Oh, my fucking eyes are getting old. Okay, Superstitions. I felt like this was kind of a story of sorts. Nasty stomping riff, tasty solo. Jordan, what can you tell me about it?
Well, I was sitting on that riff for a while, and once Rob and I started working towards putting it together as a song, we were bouncing around at different things. It was his idea to come up with the idea based around superstitions, maybe of different cultures all over the place, So yeah, we just basically spent a lot of time on Google and tried to look up different superstitions and different things that different cultures might believe in and try to work that into a song. So that's what we came up with. And the guitar solo I was doing a little bit of harmonics and stuff. It was a little bit of a tribute to Eddie Van Halen, I guess, in a sense, like just trying to put in some different stuff there,
I haven't heard his son's material. Have you heard it yet?
I heard a little bit of stuff that he did. Yeah, he just played on Kimmel, I believe.
Well, yeah, he just released I totally forgot that I guess Van Halen's early name was called Mammoth, and so he named it after that, or Wolfgang named it after that. I haven't heard any of the tracks. I know, Terry, it looked like you had something to say about it. What can you tell me, brother?
Yeah, I heard one of the first tracks on my phone the other day. What the hell is it? Something about You're to Blame? I think it's fucking crushing.
Really?
It's so good. And man, I've read so many people talking shit about this kid online. Like, he is fucking talented. Seriously, really good. The record's a band. I think if the record's like that song, is gonna be really good. So
I hope so. I hope so. I remember I was kind of going, just YouTube, man, and I saw some documentary. I don't know if you ever saw it. I might not be even explaining it well. It was with Eddie Van Halen, and it was just somebody kind of looking through his space where he kept all his stuff. It was like such a wonderful watch, because it wasn't just like, well, here's something that was custom made. No, here's something that I thought of, I did, it's right here. And this is how I made it and how I wanted to make it sound. Like, I was also watching, it was like a guitar thing with Page Hamilton from the band Helmet. And it was just so honest and so real and so pure about what he was doing and using. And I just love watching those videos, man. I don't know if you ever saw that one with Eddie or not, but it's brilliant. If I can remember which one, I'll have to look back on my history and send it to you if you're interested.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch. Yeah, the guy was a goddamn monster. He was amazing.
Yes, he was. So Terry, what can you tell me about Superstitions?
Not much. It's just another awesome song on the record. Like, right Rob and Jordan can tell you more about it for sure.
Okay, Rob, what can you tell me about it?
Yeah, that's just another one that we spent a lot of time smoking weed and watching and reading about different superstitions around the world, trying to keep it, worldly. I guess we just kind of got, maybe you'd say carried away, but I think it was pretty cool. And learned a lot of cool shit. And it was, that's just a fun song. I like it. I find the riff is very, has a bit of like a Danzig vibe to it. I think it's pretty cool. Again, that's another Jordan song, but yeah, I fucking love it.
So it sounds like
jump in there. I know, sure. When I initially when we were writing it, I had this vocal melody that just didn't really quite work, but I could not sing it for some reason. It was almost comical. I would get in to try to sing something in the studio, and then I would just end up winding back to singing the same melody that just didn't really work.
Right.
And Rob on the other end, when he was recording the vocals there, he told me in a pretty way, he was like, basically that kind of sucks. Let's try something else, He said it a lot nicer than that, but
no, he didn't.
Yeah, we just worked around it. We just worked around it, and then we just came up with that, and we were happy with it. So,
gotcha, man, gotcha. Okay, so Jordan, Rob, I guess here's the question: what were some of the weirder superstitions that you heard that kind of might have influenced you for the song?
I liked a lot of the old merit. I mean, Jordan's from Newfoundland, so a lot of it wasn't news to him. But I'm always lived in Alberta, so I thought the C ones were pretty cool. The ones that we used in the song, I can't even remember them all. But I mean, again, smoking a lot of weed. But at the time, I was quite entertained.
So superstitions of the sea, maybe like what would be a Cthulhu kind of character, something like some kind of mythical creature.
Everything right down to, I did with the color of the skies and stuff like that, I don't know. Jordan will probably remember things a lot more better than me.
Okay, Jordan, go for it, brother.
I mean, some of the stuff too, just throwing the pinch of salt over your shoulder.
Yes.
Because the devil's behind you, to get it in his eye so he doesn't mess up your vision. It messes up his vision, kind of a thing, just weird little things like that people used to actually believe, was real,
Okay, so I want to thank you for that, because here's a question. When you watch that, and I'll look it up if you don't know, when you throw the salt over your shoulder, are you supposed to throw it over your left side or right side?
I believe it's the left.
Now, that would make sense because, if I'm not mistaken, again, my grandmother was very unhappy that I became left-handed. And you can't, because that's the devil. That's the left-hand path. Yeah. And so it would make sense. Left-hand path, throw it over your left side. Yeah. Or either that, or maybe the majority of people were right-handed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the case. But
that could probably be it. Okay, so thank you for that. Let's move forward. So we got Caged, out of the box guitar work. It's a get ready, hold on tight. We're going for it right now. And that's the kind of track I felt. And then you got this keyboard kind of ending, which I see that a lot with your tracks, to where you're finishing it off with an ease of sorts after you pulverize the people. So what can you tell me about Caged? We'll start with Jordan.
Well, that song for me, when I was kind of writing the riff, I just always felt it was like a driving tune, something that you could drive to. So that's why the vocals don't really come in right off the bat.
Right.
It's just kind of the riff, and we were just playing off the riff and just having fun with it, and it just kept going,
There you go. All right. And Terry, what can you tell me about it?
Man, okay, so when I first heard this song, I was like, guys, we got to put more lyrics on this. We need more vocals, This song is such a fucking banger. It's actually my favorite song to play on the record. And yeah, it's like one of these songs that you just split your head open kind of thing. You just want to play it super loud. And then of course the organ on the end is just, because it's satanic.
And well, in a way though, it's also a little bit of icing, man. It's, it's not just straight up. It's got a little something at the end.
It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for life. Like basically, no matter how dirty or how horrible you are for the first 3/4 of your life, as long as you end up back in church, you're going to be okay. And that's why we live in Oregon.
All right, Terry, I guess we'll go with that one. That's great idea. Rob, what can you add to it, brother?
Cage, right? Yeah.
Yes, Cage.
Yeah, that one Jordan had 100% written when I joined. That one was easy. I really liked that song when I heard it too. Same as Terry. I just sat down and kept it simple and let Jordan take the spotlight for sure. Just like most of it.
There you go. Right on.
I like to play laid back, you know. I don't like to get too in the way. Those guys are doing a lot of stuff, and I like to just kind of find the pocket and sit back a little bit.
And holy shit, dude, you found that pocket, because I want to go into this next track, and it's the first track I heard. And I couldn't wait, man. I know Jordan, right, dude? So you sent it to me, and I'm like, I literally had to put it in 3 separate texts, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It hit me so hard. Banshee, man. Now, we get, of course, Doom Podcast. You start off with a Doom Bell. You got me locked in right away. So that's always a plus. Then you got this driving beat, and I get little nods to traditional Doom in certain parts. Now, there was something that Rob was doing, and I'm very curious about it. I don't know how to actually say it. Maybe Terry can help me or something. To where the beat was going along, and then all of a sudden, Rob would hit it double time twice, and then sometime it was 3 times with a fill, which I thought made such a quality arrangement, because it just kept throwing the song higher and higher and higher, and making you just can't wait for the next piece of it. So a great arrangement. I love the yeah in it. And what was that? It was like a banjo ending, I guess. I don't know. So let's start off with Jordan. What can you tell me about the first track I heard, which was Banshee?
Yeah. So I wrote the majority of that song a while ago. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, just a straight rock song, I guess. The solo part, I guess, if you want to call it, in the middle, was more of a nod to Sabbath, you know, and their doomy,
right.
doomy sort of underlying tones, you know. Obviously, the bells at the beginning were kind of a tip of the hat to that as well.
Sure.
The banjo, that was my dad's banjo. Actually, I borrowed, and I just wanted to play it. I just thought it sounded creepy at the end of it. Like, my dad plays a bunch of different instruments and stuff as well, so I ended up borrowing his banjo and just using it for that.
Right.
And yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Okay,
now Rob, what can you tell me about Banshee, dude?
I think this is probably actually my favorite song. I know I said that before, but I remember when we were tracking it, and I did say before that all the stuff we used was no samples, blah blah blah. That was a lie, because the fire sounds at the beginning, that was totally a sample, and the bells were a sample. But I remember my friend Matt came by the studio, and I was like, dude, gotta check it out. I started this song with a church burning, and it's so rad. And okay. And he's like, I crank it on, and the fire starts crackling. He's like, oh, how do you know it's a church? And then you hear that church bell, and we were both just so stoked. But, I mean, the whole song rips, but the burning church at the beginning is really cool, I think.
Yes, it is. I really like it, and I tell you, man, like I said, it's the song that actually hooked me in, to where, like, I know it's a pre-order or whatever, but I gotta hear the rest of this, like, right now. So thank you for that. Terry,
did I just ruin it by saying it was the best one? No,
dude, it's all good, man. Terry, what can you tell me?
I guess Banshee, from something interesting about Banshee. So from a mixing and like sound standpoint, there's a way that Jordan kind of does his guitar sound. It's like really specific to sort of, or make it really influences the sound of the band. Like, without that method and without like the way that sound is built,
right.
Like Opium Church wouldn't really sound like it does, right?
Yeah.
And like that's a song where like we where you really get to hear like the full extent of like how powerful that guitar is. He plays a lot off the octave. There's like a lot of the lowest notes in the scale on that song, and the drums are just absolutely crushing. Like that song is like maybe one of the ones that kind of best shows off our production.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the best song on the record. I think it's good, but it was, you know, it's funny when we were mixing the songs. I'm like, sweet. I was like, you know, getting all the masters up, and I got all the masters up, and the guy's like, hey, so when are you getting all the masters done? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're all done. I was like, oh shit, I haven't mixed Banshee yet. I'd completely forgotten about it because like we've worked on the project over such a long period of time.
Oh my
and then
God.
Banshee totally blew me away all over again. Like I totally forgot about it.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, it was weird. COVID was a weird time, man.
It's still there, and it's still weird and strange.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I want to say thank you guys for putting out a killer album. The only negative I can say is I'm not sure when I listen to it whether I want to bang my head, whether I want to play my air drums or play my air guitar. So I'm picking different songs. You know, Banshee, obviously, I'm going to go with the air drums. And maybe I think on Left Behind, I want to do air guitar. And I think the rest I'm just going to bang my fucking head.
And then air bass too. You got to do some air bass.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah. You know what? You gotta. Yeah, it's a very good.
You got to nipple ride that shit.
Yeah. Also, too, just to talk about the album art, if you got a second.
We're good. That's the next thing we're gonna go in. We're gonna talk about this art, dude.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I actually have it right here. So.
Oh no shit. Well, okay, so explain this. Talk to me about it.
Yeah. So it's actually a painting that my dad did. So.
No kidding.
Yeah, I was telling him about the album, you know, that we were writing, and he came up with this idea of this church burning and all this crazy shit. And
right?
It's church smoking.
Church smoking, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Burning. It's totally burning.
Yeah. It's up to the viewer, I guess, to see. But
okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at that, but I'm also looking at your cover on the whatever this hell thing is, computer over here. Now I see the three. You got the three grave sites or tombstones behind you. The middle one has some words on it, but I can't quite read it.
yeah, it's actually my dad's signature.
Oh no shit!
So,
All right.
Yeah. So.
Yo, keep it in the family, man. You know, why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, So, okay, Dad, thank you for this. I appreciate you contributing to the album. Thank you very much. It came out awesome. Give your son a good old big hug and tell him he did a great job. I have a few more questions for you guys, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I know that a couple of you have mentioned Sabbath and et cetera in as far as influences. Do you have any others or any influences that might not be so common? Jordan, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, well, Witchfinder General, of course. That's a standard. Ape Machine.
Oh, killer.
Rainbows Are Free. Truck Fighters. Red Fang. Sleep, obviously.
Right.
You know.
Rainbows Are Free, man. Good pull, dude. I haven't heard from. I might have to put them on the radio show. I haven't heard that in a while, and I'm looking forward to that.
Dude, they're in my regular playlist, man. They're so good.
They are
like,
good.
And I don't know what they're doing nowadays, you know. And also Weedpecker out of Poland. Those guys are unbelievable, man.
They definitely are. Rainbows Are Free had something. I thought they had something released on Rainbows Are Free. Yeah, they had something released on Bandcamp, and then it got taken off, and I think it was moved around a little bit, but it's out. It's something came out a little over a year ago. But yeah, great killer Oklahoma band, man. Rob, you had you were waving at me here. What do you got, brother?
I forgot. No.
I'll help you. Is it what was it? Olivia Newton-John?
Yeah, it could have been, but no, it wasn't. No, why don't you go to Terry and come back to me?
All right, and then we can talk about our love of Tiffany and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
all right, Terry,
let's talk.
I'm gonna embarrass the shit out of you. You know what album I listened to from front to back yesterday?
please do.
Taylor Swift's 1989.
Hey, okay, all right. Did you like it though, right?
Absolutely, fucking love it.
Okay, well, let's break this down for a second.
But the heavier stuff. Okay, go for it. Yeah, what's up?
Well, so why do you like it so much? What did you get out of it?
So I like music so I've been doing the recording thing for like 20 plus years. Okay. And like usually when I finish a day of work, it's like 10 hours in the studio, you finish a day of work and you get in your car and you don't even want to listen to the radio. You're just so sick of it. Right. I've slowly started to appreciate music more for its production sometimes than its content. Okay. And so nowadays when I hear music, I hear things like Taylor Swift's record, which is like this beautiful production, great melodies. And it's like now I listen to music that is really sonically pleasing. And I kind of find that more exciting than listening to riffs. So yeah, I thought it was great. But like for the heavier stuff, like the inspiration for the mixing behind the record, like to give it this thick, bricky kind of sound, I actually listened to a little bit of Chevelle. I like the production on the really old stuff from like what's next, Wonder What's Next and whatnot. But so really different than the guys, but like really into this style that we're writing as well, right? Like I obviously grew up listening to, my dad played in a million bands when we were younger. Grew up listening to a lot of like Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and all these old classic genres, right? So
and I do appreciate you talking about the classics, but we're here to talk about 1989 right now. So let's
yeah, man, drill down.
All right, so
everything about the record.
Okay, so you listen to it front to back. I know we got the hits, we got Shake It Off, we got Bad Blood. Was that the album? There was some album that she did. I don't know if it was that one. I apologize, I'm not totally up on my Taylor Swift, but there was one thing, and it was kind of piano-y, and it was a beautiful song. I can't remember the name of it though. Maybe it was on the next album. But okay, so we're talking about 1989. How about this? What is your favorite non-hit track on 1989?
Oh man, my favorites are the hits. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
My favorites are the hits. Yeah. My favorite track isn't Blank Space though. My favorite track is probably it might actually be Bad Blood. God, that's embarrassing.
Really? No, dude. But okay.
Fucking love it. And Are We Out of the Woods? If that's
okay. Now you're coming from musician, but you're coming from producer, mixer standpoint. So, you see different things. It would be like a comic loving a comic that the public doesn't really appeal to because it's a comic. Now, the same with music. Maybe you're hearing something that other people are not hearing. So with your favorites, whether it's Bad Blood or Out of the Woods or Blank Space, what did you hear that you thought maybe technologically, like, this is really good?
No, I'm going to come out and say it right now. Everybody hears it. It's fucking amazing. Y'all just don't want to admit it. It's good shit.
Okay, there you go. That's all I need to hear.
I don't even think I've heard it. I'm just saying. I don't know.
well, look, Jordan, I know that might not be your thing because it's actually not on your wall. But I do see something that is very
not that you can't see.
Oh, you got some Swift on over to the right or to the left there? Interesting. No, dude, I see it in the back now. I don't know what that is on the other side, but I see that's Rush, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, which album?
This is just from their 40th anniversary, BR40.
No, badass. Now, I'm assuming everyone's a Rush fan here. There's nobody that doesn't like Rush.
I don't know about that.
Oh, all right. Who are we fighting with now? Which one? Who? Terry? You're not Terry.
No, I like him.
Okay, so all right, Rob. All right, hold on.
Okay, I need to just clarify something really quick.
Yes, sir. Please.
Not all music producers listen to bad music.
Oh,
That's just
shit.
scary. But yeah, like I forgot the question now, but I was just trying to stand up for the Terry said there. For the rest
I
of us.
understand. Well, actually, what
Jordan
here,
listens to great music. I listen to more rock and roll music. I like, again, me and Jordan's common ground has been Black Sabbath, but I listen to, like, you know, a lot of Motorhead and, you know, Teenage Head, and, you know, I like New York Dolls and the Ramones a lot and stuff like that. Like, I'm a little bit all over the place for sure, but you know, I like a lot of old AC/DC. That's probably why I play drums like Phil Rudd on the record, you know. But
it's what's needed, though.
That's it. It's all about being in the pocket. You know what I mean? I don't like to jump out too much, and it really works again when you're playing with guys like Jordan and Terry that are very, you know, capable of doing it all. You just gotta find your place in there, and that's probably what I like about that old AC/DC. You know,
it's very
that's the magic, you know. That same thing, I guess, you know, with Teenage Head and Ramones. It's all that I like, you know. Even Motorhead, like, fuck yeah, he's ripping shit, but, you know, he's in the pocket and he's just keeping it steady, right?
And that's so important. I mean, you've heard the stories of Ringo Starr where they say, like, well, why didn't he do better? Why didn't he play better? He sucks. No. He was totally fucking on, and
So
you just don't even know it, because he let everything else breathe and he kept the beat. And what else do we need right there?
Oh man, yeah, I love he had it. That's great. I love that shit.
Perfect. All right, so I wanted to ask a little bit about the band's start. So how did y'all get all together?
Jordan, you better tell it so it sounds nicer.
Was there something with arrests and probation and same probation officer, or?
No, well, I mean, the one thing that I think the one thing that all of us have in common, just in general, we might come from different backgrounds of music and all that, but I think the one main thing is that we all appreciate good music that we think takes talent to make.
Sure.
And I think we all have kind of an ear for that, you know, like, doesn't matter the genre or anything.
Right.
But where we kind of came from, I went into the recording studio with another band that I was at, or I was playing with at the time. Excuse me. And that's how I met Rob. And the band that I was in ended up splitting up, you know, just different views or whatever. And
any material?
Sorry, what was that?
Like, did you get any? Were you with your old band? Did you have any material that was out?
Yeah, we had some stuff that was out. Nothing really worth mentioning or anything. It was nothing that great.
Alrighty.
In my opinion, but
okay.
That's how I met Rob, anyways, you know. And then we just started working on some stuff. We became friends, and like I said, our mutual love of Black Sabbath was
and weed
the main thing. Yeah,
Black Sabbath and weed.
Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Now, do you both know, and I'll get to you in a second, Rob, but do you know how important today is?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah. Today is the 51st anniversary of the release of the first Black Sabbath album.
Oh.
Like
I have not turned on the internet today.
Okay, so Rob, here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Please, when you get off of the phone, please put on the first Black Sabbath, crank it up, and
Again? Okay.
Again, yeah.
Two times. My wife's not going to be happy with you.
So, did you have anything to add to Jordan about how everything came together? Rob?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to Jordan. Jesus.
That's okay.
No, I mean, yeah, I will. So I'll admit, when I did record Jordan and another guy, and it was really awesome. You know, when you just kind of meet someone, and I heard him sing, I heard him play, and it was fucking rad. And obviously, when you're recording someone and you're outside taking smoke breaks and stuff, you get to chatting. And Jordan is just such an easy guy to work with. So like awesome and kind and open-minded, you know what I mean? And I know it took a lot of that, like everything. I've never butted heads with him once in any kind of way. And of the thousands of bands I've fucking been in, everyone will tell you, I'm very impossible to be within the band. So. But with Jordan, it works because he's awesome. No, and that's not even true, but no.
I'm terrible.
It's true that he's awesome. It's not true that he's it just, it kind of worked out. So it just kind of started with, being friends and just kind of smoking weed and listening to Sabbath records. And Jordan showed me a lot of cool bands that I like, from there and stuff like that. And I was just really excited to do it. It was just something different that I'd done. Yeah,
that sounds about right, man. Now, okay, so you've got the two of you, Jordan and Rob, and now Terry, you sound like you came in right after that. What can you tell me about it, Terry?
Oh man, these credit basically all goes to these guys. I came in after pretty much all the hard work was done.
Right.
So I had the super fortunate position of coming in. The music was already absolutely you just knew the record was just going to be crushing. I put some bass on it. The bass ended up being a little bit more overt than I'd originally planned, but once I got into it, it just ended up being this really kind of abrasive thing.
Right.
So we talked about me possibly joining the band, and I said, well, it'd be awesome. So I'll join the band, but we have to be a satanic rock band. And they were pretty much already there, right? So yeah, no, I'm really just for this record, I'm really just an addition. I helped with the mixing, it's these guys really pulled it together.
Perfect. Now, okay, so as you said, that most of the material was curated already, and then it was just maybe fine tuning or whatever. So now that you're working on the next record or the next a bunch of material, how is it changing? With I'm sure Terry is adding his pieces to the mix as well. So Terry, what do you feel that you're adding, and Jordan and Rob, how do you feel about what Terry's adding?
Well, let me tell you about it.
Yes, sir.
It was supposed to be a 2-piece band because I was touring for a long time across Canada with a 5-piece band, and it would get very interesting at times, and the band would get very crowded. And again, I will go back to meeting Jordan, being an awesome guy and getting along really well. I thought, man, how fucking cool would it be with Jordan? Let's buy a hearse and put all of our gear in the back, and let's fucking tour with a hearse. Again, this was pre-COVID, obviously, but
that would work well.
We're like, yeah, that's fucking rad idea. And then let's totally just sleep together on top of the body part or whatever, right? Or the casket part. And then, or build a special double wide casket or something, right? Anyways,
that would work well. Record,
and we had this cool setup. We tried things, dude. I even had this. We had this idea of taking the 2 big stacks for the guitar thing, and he would have this bass splitter fucking idea thing going on, and then we're gonna take 2 bass subs on the bottom and make this upside down cross amp thing, and we were gonna make that when you go on a stage. So I'd play on one side, he'd play on the other, and we'd have the upside down cross amp there, and it kind of went with the theme because Jordan's amazing girlfriend Vicky is the one who named the band Lords of the Opium Church, so
such a good name.
Had that, but it was a really, really cool idea. And then Terry heard the records and he wanted to play on it. And at first we did say, nah, it's kind of a 2-piece thing. And then he goes, oh, well, listen to the White Stripes, he said. And he made me listen to the White Stripes. And he's like, there's bass all over that shit. And he goes, oh, he's like, don't worry, I'll just put a little bit of bass on it. I'll totally I'll lay it in nice and smooth in the background. And I'm fucking like, okay, fine. Put it in, duck it in. And I'm going to parties and I'm telling people about this fucking cool fucking band I'm doing with Jordan. And then I'm showing it to them. He's like, oh, it's a 2-piece band. They fucking put it on. And the fucking first thing everyone says is, oh, man, that fucking bass is dope, man. And then I feel like a fucking fool saying, oh, yeah, we're a 2-piece band. So, yeah, Terry got invited in, he worked his way in, it just kind of happened. It was a good thing it happened. I mean, it's undeniable. If you would have heard it before Terry joined, it was a little bit thin. It's like Terry is, he is my mentor at work with recording and everything I fucking know I owe to him and his production and sound and stuff. And even if he does listen to bad music, I don't judge him. People shouldn't judge him either. It's a lot of his magic that kind of got us there, and his playing. He is such a fucking solid bass player, and his ideas, and he didn't jam with us once before then. He just literally sat at home and played all the songs. Like we didn't start jamming together till after the tracking was all done with the bass, even. Right. Again, kind of because that's how it happened. After I came home from those fucking parties, I had to fucking go into work and tell Terry, "Oh, I guess you're in the fucking band now."
Hey, and it's really seems to work. Now, Jordan, you had something else to add to that? It really does.
I lost my fucking cross amp, but it does work.
Oh wait. Okay.
Yeah,
Jordan,
it totally does. I mean, we didn't. We just thought it was going to be a 2-piece, But
right.
Once we heard Terry's bass lines and then everything that he was playing, like I never once had to show him any riff or anything like that. Not saying that my riffs are anything super complicated or hard to play or anything like that, but
sure.
I never had to show him anything or tell him how to sort of guide him into playing anything like that. Like everything that he came up with was just 100% him. And we were just like, holy shit, this is next level. This is like Geezer Butler, what?
So here's the thing. I'll take a little bit off of Rob with the hearse, and I'm thinking more Monsters. I don't know if any of you guys know this, but there was a show a while ago called The Monsters.
Obviously.
Okay. So they had the Dragula, or I think it was called the Dragula. So if you if for a 2-piece band, it's perfect because you can get side by side and put the gear in the back. But if 3-piece, maybe make it a little bit wider of a vehicle and then tour around in some kind of Dragula. I don't know how it is in the snow, but I don't know.
It's not always snowing.
Like I talked to Jordan yesterday, and it was what did you say? It was -95 up there.
It was like -52 up north for a little while with wind chill. Like
okay,
Celsius.
I told my wife that, and she was like, "You're so full of shit. It is not that cold." And I'm like, I'm telling you, the guy
fucking worked all week in it.
I lost one, man.
Holy smokes!
I'm kidding.
They don't. What you just did? Don't they just call that the shocker? I mean, you had you got a perfect hand for it now. Yeah, it's like
it's gone, man.
Can't do it. Wait, where is it? There it is, right there. Yeah. That's it. You got it. All right, guys. Well, yeah, I think we might be going a little off the rails in this. So I just want to tighten everything up and say thank you so much for sharing the material with me. I truly loved it. I can't wait to see what is going to come up for you guys. Now, how can everybody reach you? Number one, buy your stuff. And I know that right now you've got digital release. Do you have plans for physical release and merchandise? Please, let's start with Jordan.
Right now, we do have there's some merchandise up on the Bandcamp page. We're kind of limited with numbers, for sizes and stuff like that. But
yeah.
You guys, like anybody who wants to hear or get anything, they can just shoot us an email, lordsoftheopiumchurch@gmail.com. Other than that, physical, or you can download copies. All digital stuff will be on Bandcamp. It'll be up on all streaming platforms. We do have plans to get some vinyl made and also some CDs eventually, but we don't have anything printed yet. So
okay,
we're just kind of feeling it out, man. And if everybody likes it, then we'll definitely make it. So
okay, so
good. So I think it's gonna happen.
Right on, guys. Now I'm looking. Who did number one? Who did the goat logo, and who did the druid logo?
So the goat logo was done by Steven Yoyada.
Brilliant, genius. Yeah, it looks like his work. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that guy's amazing. And then the Dark Lords one was done by David Paul Seymour.
Oh no shit! Another brilliant guy, man. We had stuff done by him as well. So you got good stuff. You're in good company, man.
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
you're the best, man.
I want to say thank you very much for everything. Sincerely appreciate it. Terry, you had something to say?
So one last thing, we've got a video coming out pretty soon on the 18th.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that was shot actually by Jesse Nash. He's a local guy here in town. who did a fucking incredible job of shooting it. And then we sent it out to my sister, Nova Rockefeller, in LA, and she did the edit on it. And that's coming out on the 18th. So
awesome. Do me a favor, message me the video so I can share it, and I can throw it in the show notes so people can check it out. What do you want to say what the video is for, or are we keeping it a secret?
No, it's for the title track and record, Opium Church.
Hell yeah, brothers.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. And I know that we are going to talk very, very soon. If you could just hang out for just a minute, we will be right back. Big thank you goes out to all of the members of Lords of the Opium Church. And now, you know, they sent me a track, and this was the track that really turned me on to them. And I think it'll do the same for you. Let's hear it right now. This is Banshee. Thank you so much for hanging out towards the end. We have a few things to discuss. Of course, Ian from No Masters Audio. He does all things sound. Executive produces the show. We cannot do it without him. Thank you so much. For all things Doom Tomb Podcast, Cranium Radio, and other podcasts, and even the band, the links are all in the show notes. Go check them out. and click on them and do whatever you may with them. Also, you know what, man? I'm looking at the date, and it is real close to when we had Planet Mammoth last year. Yeah, we did a thing. It was in Arizona. It was awesome. It was 3 days, 23 bands. It fucking crushed. And we were looking forward to even a halfway to next year, which would have been now. And we were actually supposed to, I don't even remember if it was this weekend or next weekend, but we were supposed to have Planet Mammoth 2021 this month. And as you could tell, it's not happening. We had a full roster, and we have some people that are going to carry over to next year as long as everything works itself out. I can't believe I'm even saying this, but we have dates lined up for Planet Mammoth 2022. Yeah. Now, I don't know. If things go differently somewhere throughout the year and things start to clear up this year, yeah, maybe we'll do something. I don't know. But I know that our focus right now is on 2022 in February to fucking crush Arizona yet again. And I know we can do it. I got my good buddies. I got Kyle. I got Ian. I got Joe, Beaker, and Ray. I don't know where you are, Ray. I hope you're doing all right, brother. But I miss you. Hope you're all right. All right, everybody. Yeah, that was, I don't know. What was that? Was that sentimental? Was that the feels? I have no idea. Yeah, just kind of babbling right now. But yeah, it hit me. I was just, it's just kind of weird that, like, Planet Mammoth was this weekend, and it was a year ago, and then just a few weeks later, March 15th, was Old Fashioned Assassin and Freedom Hawk. That was the last live band I saw. And I'm looking forward to seeing some live bands in the future. So I know everybody else is with me on this. I've gotten the messages. I get it. And yeah, hopefully it'll happen sometime soon. So until that next time, meantime, and in between time, stay healthy, stay happy, support your bands, reach out to your friends, and don't forget to stay heavy.